It was fine. Okay, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll have to work with them. Oh, let's see, here we go, okay. Added agenda item. Do you wanna try to do that? No, it's not like today, okay. Acceptance of the minutes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of April 26, 2023 as submitted.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Communications,
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
law is here, I'm assuming for one section or another of our agenda
under legal.
under legal. I'm wondering if we could go ahead instead of making, it is a nice night out there. Instead of making her sit through the entire meeting, if we could jump to legal. I forget how to do that, but
Make a motion.
I make a motion that we go out of order on our agenda and go ahead to legal.
Okay,
Second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we're there. Okay, well,
Hi,
what would you like to do?
well, obviously, I spoke to Lori.
I'm sure,
On the phone, and she gave me a couple, rundown on the expenses,
okay,
the sewer and
Yeah.
bills that I
okay,
have. Somehow, I guess, obviously, we all have to pay our fee towards anything that.
Yeah.
So as the business, as the 98 Main Street.
Yeah.
So I mentioned to Lori about, since we've been closed since, I think, COVID. So we have not opened since, so
Uh-huh.
obviously we did, I guess, let the town knows regarding on, expenses and all that stuff. So she, obviously sewer bill is different from like water bills, so I have to learn about those as well.
okay.
So
hold
it's
on.
been,
Did the water get shut off?
no, the water did shut off, but
Didn't get shut off? Okay, cause that's.
because I didn't want to have the pipe burst, obviously you have to keep it.
I understand, and I'm
Yeah.
just saying, that, okay, that's a key item. If the water is connected,
Yes.
then
The
sewer doesn't get shut off, there's no shut off.
Correct,
There's no such thing,
Yeah.
so as long as the water is active, the sewer is considered active.
exactly. So, yes, so we have a yearly expenses of, this is 98, so $481, I think, per year.
Oh,
So-
no, it's not, oh, I don't know, it's,
460.
416, I was gonna say, I thought that's what it is for everyone, right?
well, yeah, recent, that's the
Yeah,
current,
every residential unit is correct.
the current rate,
Okay.
That's correct, yeah, that's correct.
okay, go ahead.
Okay,
I wanna
so,
understand the whole story from your version.
yes, so somehow she, mentioned regarding how much I owe expenses, so now I know exactly when the payments due, which is like July 1st. That's the initial fee of each
Yep.
year, so obviously that's part of my understanding.
Okay,
So, since I received a letter from. So I didn't realize that, so the thing is, obviously, yes, I do need to pay. Correct, so like everybody else. At the same time, I just wanna lift the fee from. The attorney that you had assigned it to, the bills assigned it to, which is $300 on top of, I owe. So that's all. No big other application, obviously, I have to pay part of our, contribution to my parts.
well, the attorney did work. We have to pay him. That's why you get that charge,
Okay,
because the attorney did work. Did research on the property, sent a letter out. I don't know what else they did, cause I don't have that information. But then we have legal fees And we're not gonna pay it. Because we're not the ones who didn't pay the bill.
Okay,
So that's why you have that. I don't see how it can go away.
granted, yes, I did not hire the lawyer.
No, we did,
Okay, well, that part of,
and we charged the delinquent payer the fee
mhm,
because otherwise we wouldn't have hired the lawyer.
okay, part of it, just like any lawyer we hire, you pay the fee, not the client, the client.
Well, in this case, actually, the clients, every ratepayer, if we were to let everyone off who didn't pay the lawyer fee, every ratepayer, including you, would have in your bill pay the lawyer fee for folks that didn't pay. The only question I have, do we have any incidences where we've not collected the legal fee? Not that I'm aware of. Well, then that's kind of unfortunately the answer. We go out of, now, we've extended all our courtesies we can to law, I mean, time to pay, whatever we can do, etc. Okay. And knowing that non-payment also affects the ratepayers because we're using their money, hoping that we get paid to pay for the plant and the sewage. And if the water's on, we have to have the sewer on.
Right.
State law. So everything we've
get it.
done,
I get it.
Yeah.
and the attorney, that actually is coming, it's like taking it from taxpayers. Cause that's
We
who's
pay
paying,
taxes as well.
right,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't like it if I didn't pay my taxes.
A lot of people didn't pay.
But no, wait, if I didn't pay my taxes, and the thing that was keeping me from paying the taxes was paying the town back for the attorney. You wouldn't want me to take that money out of your pocket to pay the attorney that had to chase me for taxes. And that's what essentially this is. This is a ratepayer situation. This entire plant runs entirely on ratepayer money. There's no taxpayer money. There's no federal thing, so, you have to look at it from that point of view. And if we don't have a precedent, then I'm all set.
Well, all due respect, yes, obviously, absolutely, but can you just leave the fee, because obviously $300 per each
Yeah.
a building.
The answer is blunt, as you heard from these two gentlemen, and I agree with them, the answer is no.
That's something we can do. Because the burden then would come back to the ratepayers, which means that our rates would have to go up to cover that extra cost. Not magic money, all money
True,
comes.
I get it.
So if it comes out of our budget, then we're short that money. But we're not the ones that didn't pay the bill. Okay, so the burden is on,
All due respect, yes.
and that unfortunately, I don't see any other way to do it. Even though I'd love to do that stuff, but you know what? We're not here to give away money, we can't.
No,
It's not
I'm
our
not saying
money.
to give you money, I just
It's-
respectfully,
It's a reasonable question.
yes.
It's something that we just can't do. Because that puts the burden on the rest of the people who are paying their bills. Because they're gonna pay for that money. The lawyer is getting paid, period. Keep that in mind. The lawyer gets paid. They did work, they gotta get paid. So that's why we can't. And we're not gonna pay the lawyer. We're not the delinquent client. That's
Well,
basically our policy.
and being negative, we do have things in place, and it sounds like the staff has provided you with opportunity and going to provide you with opportunities to take care of that.
Plans, whatever.
Yeah, we absolutely understand, we explained really well, because you said it to the building itself, you said it to the residentials. So I didn't realize that, my mail go towards the residential.
Originally, they had gone to the property locations when they were in Marshall, they were at the property locations, we didn't get any response. That's when I went to the assessor's records and you have the King Street Enfield press listed. So I started sending notices there and they also got ignored.
I see. All right, so now from now on, it will be on time. Obviously, because I wasn't sure
You're-
when to pay and not to pay, and
Gotcha.
yes.
No, I can appreciate that,
but.
Yeah, so it is no hard feeling, we all
No,
here
no.
to make business, we all
Not very
here to
cool.
survive. Like
Yeah.
everybody else, and obviously I'm taking full responsibility on my part on payments,
Yes.
so I just wanna live. So only thing I was asking is because
No,
$600.
it's a fair question, but we can't do that because that hurts the rest of the ratepayers. That's why we can't do it.
And we have stabilized our rate here. We're on
Yeah.
year two
Yes.
of this 400, which is the middle of the road. So
16.
we're doing good things here for you as a ratepayer with those properties. So
Be
we're hoping
careful.
to
Yeah.
keep it there. That kind of rate where it's lower than it should, look at other towns. You're from Enfield.
Well,
We know
oh,
that
Enfield is outrageous.
Right, we're not at that point, and we don't wanna get.
No, we hope not to ever get.
So we are a positive group. I just.
We are great, but I have several business there.
Yes,
I mean, we try to make the place looks very nice,
yeah,
that's what we're here for.
exactly.
We doing our parts,
Understand that.
taxes and, being doing stuff. Obviously, yes, sewer bill is important because obviously they all need to,
Why wouldn't you get mail at the address?
because I moved.
No, I'm sorry. 98 Main Street, why wouldn't mail be received there?
The mail should be there. But I think because since the COVID, I think that somehow we didn't go over there.
Oh.
It's been closed since
I
then.
see, okay. Wow.
So she mailed it to.
That's an unfortunate circumstance, but then.
Exactly.
Then you kind of left it up to us to figure out how to reach you.
Yeah, so,
As opposed to, we go by property, cause. The owner of the property is responsible for the sewer charge,
yes, we have like
okay,
water.
and
bills,
that's it.
sewer bill. So
okay?
that's no big deal, and obviously, yes, I just
Well,
wanna reach.
it's important, but with nothing we can do. So, even if we,
All right,
just outside what we can do. But I appreciate your asking, it's a reasonable question.
yeah, absolutely, there's no hard feeling, it just, that we
And I
just
wish you
need to.
success.
You too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming by. Okay, so communications, I gotta say,
I make the motions to return
the regular meeting,
the regular agenda.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're back, communications, I got a stack, I'm gonna go through it very quickly. Okay. An RFP from town of Vernon for furnishing security services at the town of Vernon Water Pollution Control Facility. I'm not exactly sure I understand that, but. Yeah, it's gonna cost money.
Well, that's the bottom line.
They get into no detail on that with a giant legal notice.
That'd be something you would have to do anyways, you'd have to hire an outside firm.
Well, I don't know what they have to do, I don't know what they're trying to do, because it doesn't say. It's a lot of detail in contracts, but.
One of the things we recently did here was on the keypads on the doors for this building here. Used to just have the padlock, the locks, the key. We've had people come and go, and so by
Right.
having the electronic.
You can change it if you
Yeah.
want to. Yeah, well, there's no detail in here, but it's an RFP and a mandatory pre-bid conference and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, town of Ellington. WPCA, Vernon Pump Station upgrade. So they're looking for someone to provide labor and materials to upgrade the Vernon Pump Station. Which sounds like it's gonna be all outside, which is a very expensive way to do things. I'm only mentioning these because we don't do it that way. Town of Suffield Water Pollution Control Authority, this is their rate. Their rate is interesting. It's $3.60 for 46,000 gallons, and then it's $9.09 per thousand after that, which comes out to $416.36. So
how do you measure outflow? You only measure based on the water taken in, right?
Yes, that's what we do too.
Okay.
Yep.
What's your average commercial, the restaurant?
Well, our average commercial is 50,000 gallons.
Right, so that's directed at controlling economic growth.
It's also.
But this is residential and equivalent units,
Right,
that's it.
but that's how you do it without zoning.
Oh, I understand that, but
It's
this is
also-
only residential, this is not
also-
commercial. Kent Farms Community Sewage System rates were not approved. So they got some other things up in the air, but that's, they got multiple rate schedules.
It's a shell game, they're playing with numbers and they make it look like they're
Got
going
it,
slow,
okay.
and then they check. They do the same thing in Enfield, it's absolutely ridiculous. At last month meeting, I mentioned how I had surveyed some of the rates that, and I understand this stuff, 'cause it's what I do, but the average person. They don't understand, no, and that's exactly why they do it,
Yeah,
it's not transparent.
confusion is worth a lot.
Exactly, that's.
You don't have to explain things to confuse people because you made sure they couldn't understand it. Okay, the next one is the town of Vernon, again, another RFP. For a contract for furnishing custodial services. At the water pollution control facility. It's just, I don't know.
You can hire a guard that can sweep floors, take care of two things in one shot.
And then the last item is an article that was in the Journal Enquirer, May 29th. Plumbers weigh in with 6
Oh, yes.
tips,
Yes.
and one of the items was flushable wipes. One concern has floated to the top of the tank for plumbers over the past few years. Flushable wipes, turns out they're not so flushable. They don't dissolve like toilet paper does. And blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we tell our customers not to use them. And there you go. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you. That's my communications. Anybody else? Gonna get those to Laura. I always try to give them to her, so she knows what I'm doing. And if not, we have no scheduled visitors other than what we had. Public participation. There's no one there. So that'll bring us down to receipt of applications.
We have none left.
Quiet time. And none to approve, correct?
That's correct, there's none to approve.
Wow. And so now we will be down to X. That's the public hearing.
Sorry, right, XI.
Let's start with X.
No, my eyeballs aren't what they used to be. Public hearing, motion to suspend the regular meeting.
Gotcha.
All in favor?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye. Okay,
Make a motion to open the public hearing for revision to sewer use charges.
Second.
All in
all
favor?
in favor?
Aye.
Next.
Motion to dispense with reading of individual provisions as itemized in legal notice published in the Journal Enquirer on May 19th, 2023. All in favor? Or vote, sorry, motion.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, I'll read the notice without the detail.
Okay.
Which I condensed because it would be like many pages. Okay, public notice, Town of East Windsor Water Pollution Control Authority, public hearing on proposed revision to sewer user charge. The Water Pollution Control Authority of the Town of East Windsor will hold a regular meeting starting at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, May 31, 2023. The on-site meeting is restricted to commissioners and staff. The public may participate via the remote video conferencing platform Zoom. During this meeting, a public hearing will be held pursuant to section 7-255 of the Connecticut General Statute to give property owners who will have sewer user charges levied against them an opportunity to be heard as to proposed revision to the charges. A copy of proposed revisions to the charge is on file in the office of the Water Pollution Control Authority, 192 South Water Street, East Windsor, Connecticut. The sewer user charge format is based on a unit charge, and each unit will pay the sum of $416 annually. The charge will become effective July 1, 2023, and will be billed annually with a total payment due beginning July 1 and ending June 30, 2024. For bills in excess of $100, it is the option of the user to pay in full or 2 installments. with the second installment being due January 1, 2024. Interest will be charged for delinquent accounts as provided by section 7-258 of the Connecticut General Statutes, with a minimum interest charge of $2. The balance of the previous adopted schedule concerning sewer unit charges, including the number of units which will be assessed against each property owner, will remain the same except for those listed below, and that's the end of that. Welcome to the public hearing. So, it was an incredible list. Some people gain, some people lose, up. I have no idea. The one thing we don't see is the end result. Do we gain users or lose users this year?
We had a slight gain.
Slight gain, good enough. I don't need an exact number. No, we're good. Okay,
Make the motion, close public hearing revision, sewer use charges.
Second.
Favor?
all in favor? Aye. You don't do that part. Okay, now,
Make a motion to resume the regular meeting.
that's,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, yep, and then X5.
Action on revision of sewer use charges and setting the sewer use rate. Motion to impose the revision to sewer use charges in accordance with the legal notice public.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Next,
Motion to impose a rate of $416 per user, per sewer user. Use unit based on 5,025 units for a billable budget of $2,030,573.
Second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, got that part, we're done with that, I didn't think it would be difficult.
Oh, wait, I wanted to talk for another 3 minutes.
No,
Yeah, sure. So, unfinished business, IT status is next.
Okay, so things are, getting me into some pretty deep water, I'd say. So what I did is I reached out to, first off, Region 3 Cybersecurity Task Force. They have meetings occasionally.
Yeah,
Sat in with them, got introduced to a real good contact, David Palmberg from CISA. And I've had two in the last 30 days, probably 2 hours each time, web visits with David. We did a cyber security kind of like an overview of what's going on. We did our performance goal assessment the last time. He's setting up a site visit for us. So I think that's going to be a real big help to me. They've got all sorts of training available, free training, and they're going to have things like loggers and things. So I think we're going to be, over the next couple of months, we're going to really be able to improve our skill set. So that's got me enthused. I'm ready to put some extended energy into that. The one thing that I'm most pleased with, despite the fear of all of this, is one of the first steps we can take. And David mentioned it, and I said, we've done this because we've had things like lightning strikes knocking us out. And we did some training with all our new people right before as COVID hit, running this facility under manual control. And in case we have something happen.
okay.
And we can do that. We've got experienced staff. We've done it before. We're going to have to really kind of sit down and every 2 to 3 weeks, pick out a piece of equipment, get the newer people. We have three, maybe 4 new people.
Yeah, because they've never done it the old way as we know, the analog way. They've come into the digital world.
So,
it's good to
worst
bring it up
case,
there, Jeff.
worst case scenario,
No.
we can run this place on manual. So, around the clock work, but
Yep.
hopefully,
Yeah.
that was a key, and it made me feel good about at least our level of experience.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the training. I hope to reach out to you guys, as we move
my
along.
only question is based upon last month's discussion of
Server.
5 years.
Oh.
Should you not have a secondary backup? Who's the backup?
Yeah, we have been working hard at that. We have a secondary. We gotta ramp them up.
My fellas get struck by lightning.
Yeah, I could too, yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, and I've been in a business where. We were down. Would have been out of business, except I knew how to do all the manual stuff. I didn't know how to read books and write things and do certain steps. I would have been in hot water. And the tunes of probably $500,000 worth of business I would have lost. So manual, my idea is, my father, the actuary, used to say, yeah, computers are great, but to find the mistakes on the paper.
Well, that's something I'm gonna add, because a couple of years ago, as we really got deep into SCADA. And kind of built, and we're using it to analyze things logistically, and Ed is our SCADA guru. And I've learned a lot from Ed. I watch Ed, and I'll say, hey, can I do some of that stuff for you? Because I'm all about being, and Ed believes the same thing. So every morning, either Ed or I sit in front of the SCADA computer, and we have paper. Every single pump station, and even though SCADA is, we sit there, we write it down, I look at the trends on the screen, and I think, Ed, we have caught things just because of the fact that it takes me 15 or 20 minutes. First thing when I come in the morning, I sit there and I do it. And that is the beauty of not just relying on what you're saying, Jim. And we do that in our lab. Everything is done on paper, it's computed.
yeah,
Because what I have found is that all these plants use SCADA, and I do a lot of wastewater training across the state, and these poor folks can't do simple math. Since everything is done by the computers.
yeah, that's.
Oh.
Yes. Manual, all about upgrade, what you do. Steve will tell you, I just sit there and go, wow.
Right.
Okay. But I also know when it all craps out, you gotta still be able to do it, so I'm glad to hear.
Yep, and I'm really.
And once a month, everybody looks at one piece of equipment, that's healthy
Oh.
interaction.
So I think we're really good. Ed and I were having a little discussion earlier, and I don't know if I'm just gonna bring it up right now, but the recent cybersecurity thing we had at Philip Homburg there, they were talking about, because we talk about our server and BT SCADA, and Ed mentioned to me that was one of the concerns he brought up, that we really should be talking about that stuff. Or maybe not.
We could talk about it, just not release it in,
Yeah.
whether it's, I don't know, nobody's watching, but in little minutes.
There's a whole lot more to it than,
Yeah.
you can discuss SCADA, it's not gonna, I wouldn't necessarily identify the system.
Well, that's what.
Correct.
Right.
Right, but you can discuss
Yeah.
the overview of
Yeah.
HMI and SCADA, that's not an issue.
No, and if it's something that you feel is that confidential, that can be discussed when we go to executive session.
Correct.
Well, the other aspect of it though is probably the later point to discuss other things. Sure. Can we get to the server? Are we good now with it? Security?
Yeah, that's all I had to
Yeah,
add.
that's where we're going. The server, we just got it out of the box and it's running to make sure it's gonna run okay. We haven't touched it. We're, looking for a late fall implementation, so. One of the ideas, one of the things we talked about, I know you had, last time we had a discussion about, worries about if it stopped, would we be cut off at the knees? So one of the things that came up, we've been wanting to network another building, with SCADA, an idea of a secondary, I know it would be expensive, but a secondary redundant server in a different building.
That's not a bad idea. Again, we'll take this. Security thing is kind of an important thing. I have various ideas, questions. I just want to get some input later.
How much time would you have, even if we got together on a weekend or something, you and I?
I got all kinds of times after June 7th.
Okay, we could really sit down. Cause we're open to the best possible long-term solution And if you're willing to
Yeah, that's,
sit down with him,
that's fine. Some of it's based upon some electrical engineering, and the other half of it's based upon security.
yeah,
Well, I think.
I would really appreciate that.
One board member. More about this, so that if it does come up, that board member can say to other board members, hey, this is something we should discuss, or this is something we should discuss in private. So I think
Yeah,
if
that's
you get
valuable.
people to volunteer to be the liaison from the board to the computers, whatever you wanna call it, that's.
Yeah, it would be a huge help to us and to me personally.
Well, and then if there's something we need to understand, but. You know what I'm saying? I think it would assist everybody.
It's, times are moving very quickly.
Oh,
I've been here for 33 years. I've been the chief operator, day-to-day operation around the clock, running this facility, and it's gone well so far over all that time. And in the last 5 or 10 years, whatever it is, I'm here. I really would love to see this thing continue to go without a blip.
Exactly.
So whatever if we can get together after June 7th,
Yeah, it's fine.
that would be huge.
Good,
Thank you.
okay. So FCC rate review.
Okay,
I know you have ideas.
well. Yeah, and we had discussed that last month. And so, in the minutes, I had explained that I had looked at the WPCS, looked at the sewer use rates, facility connection charges, and how they arrived at them. As we mentioned earlier with that billing you were talking about, they're getting really creative with not being transparent and being extremely confusing.
Yeah.
So, our FCC is right where it should be. We're higher than some, we're lower than others.
Yep.
But because, and I think Jim mentioned it here, that since we don't have debt, we don't really need to raise our rates currently. Our FCC rates. Exactly. I do know of a town that recently retracted their FCC, reduced it from what was almost $8,000 and they cut it down to $4,000. And it was a foolish thing to do, because then the last budget cycle, they had to increase the rate by $50 just to cover debt service.
Yeah, I mean. It's.
They incurred a large thing. And then they tried to satisfy the ratepayers by creating fictional numbers.
That's what it is, Jim.
And so we are at the point here, as I understand it, somebody correct me, that we are at the point where we don't deal in fiction.
Oh, no, we do not.
Most
No,
of this is
none.
hard, cold facts.
Yep.
This is what it costs, this is what it takes. If the rates where we think it should be, what do we need to do to get it, so we solidify that? It's for every 3 years, right?
That's what we said, every 3 years we would review it.
So
Well,
do
what
we
we're
need a
gonna do-
motion?
We're going to, we can asterisk the item, so it sits on the agenda.
Oh.
We don't have to discuss it, but we don't forget that.
Okay, that would be fine by me.
I think that's the best way.
Okay, let's do that.
Because we can unasterisk it anytime.
Well, if we incur, something happens, we incur large debt, we would have it on asterisk, because that's where we would.
And there, but it would still be there, you wouldn't be forgetting it, because we
Okay.
take it off. That's when it's going to get lost.
No, I'm with you in agreement, and asterisk does nothing but leave it on there for us to remind us. Always have it in the back of our head, I'm with you. So let's do that with that, and that way we can solve it. I don't think there's any more discussion, is
I
there?
don't think.
I don't
we don't have to do it. No,
Alright,
because we're not making a change.
no,
No, it's important. End date on contracts, I don't know, that's just something we're going to do,
Make sure that all contracts have.
and that's. Okay,
Did we define time period for that? Is it 1 year?
no, we left it flexible because we wanna leave negotiating.
Okay.
I think what and certainly minutes will correct me, I think we assume that 1 year may be the norm, but if they have something working and it needs 2 years, we don't wanna tie hands either.
That's fine, I just wanted to make sure.
We just want people to know that the end of the contract comes,
Right.
like the Calamar
the end is
situation.
the end,
Exactly, right,
Right.
and that was referenced in the minutes.
and
from,
you start over.
That Laura included.
Well, it gives our staff time too,
Yeah.
if they see something's coming to an end. it gives you an opportunity to reach out and ask what's up.
Okay, so that's another item we can afterwards at this point.
Yeah.
I think, and that would be fine. It just makes it, but we don't drop it.
No, I agree. It's always good to have those. Cause you never know what's gonna change. I'd say everything here is fluid, but it is.
That one's in the, wow.
So it's forever now. That's gonna change.
Okay, that'll move us down to new business, bill sheet review. Yeah, it's stuff in the package, and the most important one to me is. Where's the money? So. 92% of the year is gone, 85% of the money has been expended. Don't expect it to, not be expended.
Yeah, there will be some transfers.
We'll be looking at some things that are gonna happen, and things will change, but that's okay. And what it means is we're in a good spot. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, Mike. Good evening. That's how I catch on. Good evening, gentlemen.
Superintendent report.
Okay, I've got, couple things, Ed touched on, the cybersecurity, he's been spending an awful lot of time with that. And I've been kind of picking his brain a little bit because, that's a pretty heavy duty stuff. And I'm trying to learn a little bit, but I have full faith in Ed that, he's doing whatever we need to do. We recently received our new septic pumps. You may recall we ordered these back in, it was 15 months ago, Ed?
Yeah.
Okay, so back when we ordered them, there was a number of things that the commission approved us ordering because of a whole time delay and
Yes.
again,
Right.
so 15 months later, they finally showed up.
Yeah.
That's
something.
incredible, 15 months, okay. So, that's a huge project. Some of our mechanics are currently working on that. The mechanics also recently changed out all the valves in the GVT building. Again, they're 27, 28 years old, and so what the guys did was burned out the bolts, replaced the bolts in advance of the new valves coming. So when the new valves got here, it's a piece of cake.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I tell you, our guy is really
Planning,
very good on that.
it's all about planning.
The back on, we've been really getting it out good this year. Again, as I mentioned, the map's right behind Jimbo right now, but, yeah, we have a map. We have our lead guy, John Ferentz, who is kind of, we call him the operator in charge of collections. Okay. So he works with the two other guys and every week they put together a plan, give to me and then to review and then for Steve to schedule it. The area they're gonna do, what they are hoping to accomplish, and then at the end of that week, we get another report that says, okay, this is what we got, this is how far we got. Doing it like that, and these guys going out ahead of time, knowing the areas, knowing where the obstacles are, and I'll tell you, it's just, I call it working smarter, not working harder. But I think you would agree that they've done phenomenal.
It's been a
Oh,
good
God,
season,
yeah.
so, and it's early still.
Yeah, so it's really, and they're really happy about it, they get real excited about it, because it's like, hey, we get this much footage done, and I'm like, well. You put it on the map so we can track every single thing that we do.
Sure.
So the big focus this year was Route 5 from Scannick Road, bringing everything down and then into the major trunk line, and then here's the plant. So it's worked out really good. I'm really happy with what they've been doing. We ordered some VFDs back in November of last year for her Route 140 pump station, and we were just told Friday that they shipped.
Oh,
Yeah,
So
we
they
got our fingers crossed.
And so once we get the VFDs, then we have new pumps to put into Route 140. So that's gonna be a nice project again.
Yeah.
Getting all the parts is a big
you
deal.
gotta have the parts.
It takes forever, okay. And then recently we had an issue, we've had some issues on Pleasant Street. We've known for 13 years that there was some areas of concern out there. And the whole thing about this is trying to prioritize, and so we were able to keep it at bay for the longest time. There's actually, I don't know if it's the selectman, Nordell, there's a Nordell that owns the property on Pleasant Street. And
Well, that's a possibility.
it could be, yeah, it could be a relative.
Yeah,
And so there's been a couple of backups there.
okay.
We've been out there, we've been monitoring it. John has it on the weekly checklist, go out. And so I recently engaged the services of Green Mountain Pipe Cleaning. Ray Bar, you may have heard Ray's name, I think you might have met.
No radar.
Yep. So, because the guy who used to do all our TV work, Charlie Brown, he passed away last year.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, it's,
oh, I missed that.
yeah, well, I
Wow.
think a lot of us did, because, yeah, so
Oh, that's a shame.
it's a shame, yeah. Anyway, Ray came in yesterday, gave me a quote today. 1,900 feet on Pleasant Street, and so it's like tile pipe, some of it's
Yeah,
compromised.
this is-
We're real careful when we jet it, because we can do more damage than actually climb it.
Yes.
It's right across the Carousel Apartments.
Yeah,
I know it's there, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so anyways,
Very sure stones with those pipes.
okay. So,
we probably have some VH.
Oh, we do, yeah.
Tapes of those.
we have a lot of pictures of that, so they're gonna come in and they're going to clean it, they're gonna televise it. And then they're gonna put together a quote for a slip line. It's CIP, curative place security, what they did at South Road.
Yeah,
These are the same guys that did South Road.
oh,
They
okay,
did a phenomenal job, so.
great.
That's something that I was talking to Ed. Going forward, I think some of our focus is gonna be on collection system repairs. Because.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Makes
yeah.
sense, makes a lot of sense. Failure in a sewer line.
So
Or
our
situation.
focus in the past years, dozen years, has been on the equipment and the pump stations. That bought us time, because 13 years ago, we were aware of this and we kept monitoring and watching it. And now it's time, we need to address it, so
Yeah,
that's good,
right.
because we're almost done with the pump stations. And the focus is gonna go on.
Wow,
Do you have a rough ballpark based on prior history? Do you have a rough estimate?
Oh, for the relining?
Yeah.
Yes, I do, again, this is based on when they did South Road.
Yeah.
Cause they do it per inch mile diameter. I'm thinking it's gonna be somewhere between $80,000 to $100,000.
And that buys. I'm not familiar with the pump line, I know he did south.
Exactly
South
right.
Main. What's the estimate of the life on that?
50 years.
Sounds like a bargain.
Oh, it is,
Oh, it is.
without a doubt, it is a bargain.
it saves the sewer.
Oh, my God. But basically, it's just like an inverted sock, if you were to take an athletic sock.
Yeah.
And they put a fiberglass liner in it, they push it out, then they heat it up with steam, it cures, it's hard to stay.
Does it do anything to capacity flow?
Somebody else was just asking me that day, one of our guys, and I said, what it does, because it is so smooth, the coefficient of friction is so low.
Okay.
It's
Doesn't really matter.
exactly right.
Compared to what's there now.
Yeah,
And
Because
it's slower than-
This stuff is so smooth, it just, there's no friction to it whatsoever, so, yeah.
Now, is there any grants out there for that kind of work?
Okay,
Nah, I know that's your favorite word.
okay, no, it is, because as Ed knows, I reached, Paul, when you and I were at that conference.
Yeah.
I took down some notes, and one of the gentlemen there, I can't think of his name now, but anyways. He mentioned how, with DEP, a lot of changes, a lot of people, so this lady Yvonne Hall has taken over. I saw an email from EPA. And so, as Ed and I always do, when we hop on these things, say, hey, what do you got? Sent it to DEP, I got no response. EPA contacted DEP, said, hey, have you responded to this guy yet? And she responded back to us, and that was my question, I said, I'm interested, they call them set-asides.
Right,
Because Amy, I had to speak with Amy, she said East Windsor is a distressed community.
absolutely.
Okay, and so I was led to believe that there are set-asides for, so you don't have to go through the whole process. Unfortunately, as Ed and I were talking, when Yvonne Hall got back to me, and we're still gonna talk to her further. This usually requires going out with a quality-based selection process and selecting an engineer. That is not, I've been there.
Worth the money.
Oh,
no,
unfortunately, Jim,
No.
that's exactly what it
It's
is.
not
No.
worth the, got it, so
Yeah.
let's leave my question alone. You're doing something about it, you don't need to explain another. I got it, you looked at that, okay.
Can I, sorry,
Sure.
since we're on this. Is there any other spots in town? Volume-based perspective that should be done as well at the same time?
Not that I am aware of right now, we have some areas where the problem when you do the line, you gotta do from manhole to manhole, you gotta have an exit, an entry, and you have to have an exit. So if you got a small spot, like 10 or 20 feet, it's not cost effective.
Right, I understand that. If you're gonna do like 1,000 or 2020.
Right.
And the sewer lines where we're talking and where else line,
Yes,
these are the oldest ones.
Yeah.
oh, yes.
So, I mean, there, I've seen films from 20, 30 years ago when we were expanding the
Oh,
plant.
yeah,
What these sewer lines looked like back then. I can only imagine what something looks like now.
Right.
so what
Not
we do,
better.
is we've done a lot of video, it's all been digitized, we review it, we have our own push camera. That we can get 150 foot out there, but what we can do is we can get a condition of the pipe. And see if it's crumbling, if it's delaminating, and so we do that on a regular basis.
And.
Oh, yeah.
Jim makes a great point, and so you are, this warehouse point section, before this facility was
Oh,
built in
that's right, you were here.
'95.
Yeah,
Several of these big sections were lined back in '93, '92, '93, and they're just holding up fine. So the majority of our lines are in pretty good
They're
shape,
either
actually.
newer,
Yeah,
or we fixed them, and this is like the tail end.
Yeah.
Because there's no desire to rush up into that neighborhood till now.
it wasn't really a priority,
No,
because it's a certain system and a schedule,
Right.
rating these things, and
It's become a priority.
it's, that's what I'm saying.
That's fine. Becomes a priority problem.
So that's why our focus, I think, is gonna be the next couple of years.
what, I'm not trying to delay, because I know we got some things we need to discuss in executive session. The one thing I had to ask, you said equipment's starting to show up after 15 months, et
Yes.
cetera. Now we put together our next round of ordering, right? Oh, we're starting to think about it,
Oh, yeah,
and I think when we start the new year, let's start looking at that list more serious.
we look at that list constantly.
Well, but bring it to us, so,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
and now that we're into the new, once we get into July, new year. Or whatever it is, let's look at it.
July meeting is first one in
Yep,
July.
and then,
I did drop off 3 or 4 pretty large, big ticket items,
Yeah.
quotes on Art's desk today, so.
right,
and this is my budget booklet with all the detail sheets of everything you're talking about, Jim. And part of that is what.
I figured you're already at it, but it's okay.
Thanks for asking.
Let's make sure we
Oh, no,
stay at
I
it.
appreciate that, no,
Because if it's taking 15 months, we don't wanna be waiting 3 months for anything.
exactly, you're exactly right.
Now, I got a hold of Art a couple of weeks ago. I happened to be up at the American Legion at Enfield, the big one. And there were a dozen sewer trucks there.
Comfort trucks, I guess. you
Yeah,
call them.
I guess, I don't know what they're called, they were all lined up, because it turns out that the biggest pump station in town failed. So they're digging up Main Street in front of the town hall,
For the second time, it
and,
happened 3 years ago, the same exact.
yeah, and all those trucks have to, get the sewage and put it into a place they get, you gotta do the round robin crap. I just wanna mention it because Enfield's really in trouble in sewer, there's no question about it, because they're so far behind, they don't believe in maintenance, that's what,
You're exactly right, that's, yeah.
for what it's worth. Now July is election of officers. So my campaign mailing will be going out short.
There's your campaign.
Wait, can he file? Does he have filed his paperwork? We don't want
You know what?
scandals
You're
here.
gonna have to be the treasurer.
Elon Musk is my,
George Santos is your treasurer.
oh no, I can't do that, okay, anyhow, all right. No transfers,
No, that's,
did I interrupt you on what you were saying? Or are you done?
I was just answering Jim's question.
I wanna make sure that I'm not incorrect.
No, thanks, Paul.
That's a critical item. Okay. Well, in that case, we're gonna need you.
Make a motion to enter executive session. To include
To include, and it doesn't say,
the attorney Lanza
yeah,
Yes, that's right.
and the superintendent
superintendent
and the chief operator.
operator.
And Laura's more than welcome to stay, but, we probably have better things to do.